All right, hey there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I'm not able to be with you today, but we are going to be looking at graphing linear inequalities. So it's very similar to graphing a line. The only exception, of course, is that we have the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and then, of course, the greater than symbol. So we may or may not always have a solid line. So let's see what we do here. First of all, we need to get it, we need to solve for y, so we need it as y equals mx plus b format, right? So this is what we're looking for. We need to graph using slope and the y-intercept. The next thing we're going to do is decide, is the line solid or dashed? And of course, we know it's solid when it's equal to and dashed when it is not. The other piece that's going to be a little different is we're going to be doing some shading. So we're going to shade above or below. So over here on the left-hand side, these are indicators whether or not we're using a solid line or a dashed line. So a solid line would be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Anytime you have an equal sign is key. So you're always going to have a solid line there. And of course, a dashed line would be just less than or greater than, so no equal. The next piece that we're going to look at here is whether or not we shade above or below. So shading above would mean that we are looking at values, so like y would be greater than, or y would be greater than or equal to. So the opposite of that would be that y is less than, or y is less than or equal to. And we'll practice this here in just a moment. So let's go ahead and go through this process and graph this equation. Here we have 2x minus 3y is less than 12. So my goal here is to get y by itself. So I'm going to manipulate this equation. So I have negative 3y is less than negative 2x plus 12. Now, the last piece here is to divide by negative 3. Everything gets divided by negative 3. Now, one thing we do not want to forget is flip the sign. When you divide or multiply. Sorry, that's a division symbol. So division or multiplication means you have to flip the sign. So in this case, we are flipping the sign. So now we have y instead of less than now becomes greater than. Negative 2/3 divided by negative 3 is a positive 2/3 x, and then minus 4. So what I'm able to do here is grab the m and the b. So my slope is 2/3, and my y-intercept is at negative 4. So let's check this out. So starting at negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4 is here. And I'm going to use my slope of up 2 over 3. So up 2, 1, 2 over 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're here. Up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3. I'm going to go ahead and head this opposite direction to get as much as I can graphed. So there we go. I am going to connect this to make a, actually no, I don't want to do that. The reason why is because we have an inequality to look at here. So we have no equal sign, so it is going to be a dashed line. I got a little happy there and wanted to connect. So we're looking at a dashed line. And of course the line does continue in both directions. Now the shading piece, notice we have y is greater than, so that means we are going to be shading above. Because we want all of the y values that are greater than that line. Because remember, this is your y-axis right here. So now let's check a couple of points. So let's say I give you, I don't know, -2, 2. So if I go -2, 2, my point is here. So would this one be a solution? Yes, it's a solution. Let's say I pick another one. Let's say I do 3, -2. So I go over 3, down 2. My point is here. It is actually on the line. Anytime you have a point on a dashed line, this would be a no. Well, let's see. I'm going to change that. Let's say not a solution. And of course, anything like outside of this, so something here, let's say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're looking at 8, 1. This is also not a solution. So shaded or solid line would be a solution. A dashed line is not. So this would be right here. This would be 3, -2. And then this one would, of course, be -2, 2. So this shows us where our solutions lie. They are either on a solid line or in the shaded region. All right, here we're going to do some matching. We're going to match these graphs to their respective equations. So let me start by getting these equations into that slope-intercept form. So I'm going to pause the video and take care of that. You can do the same. All right, so here are our equations in basically what looks like slope-intercept form. So as you can see here, I've found our M and B for all 3. So I'm just going to kind of guess and check as far as I go. First of all, I notice they all have dashed lines, so that doesn't help us. So that would be the first thing I always check. Dashed versus solid. And because they're all greater than, then that doesn't help us either. But I'm going to use the y-intercept. So for this first one, B equals 3. They all have a y-intercept at 3, except for something happened with that last one. That one should have a y-intercept at -2. So in order to make this work, I think I'm going to have to change this to a 27, which means this will be a 3. And let's actually make that a -27, so this will become a +3 here. So we have a +3 for our y-intercept there. All right, simple fix. So now let's match. So I have all my y-intercepts are at 3. Okay, we all have greater than. Okay, so let's check our slope. So I'm going to pick 2 perfect points here, and I'm going to find our slope. So it looks like we have a rise of 3 and a run of 1. So rise of 3, run of 1. So it would be 3 over 1 or 3 for our slope. So it looks like we're at this equation here. This would be 30x minus 10y is less than -30. Let's check the next one. Here I have 2 pretty points. We're looking at this one. So I have a rise of 1 and a run of 3. So this would be 1/3 for our slope. And of course it is negative. So -3x minus 9y is less than -27. We had to change that one. And then last but not least, by process of elimination, it looks like if I have a slope here, rise of 2, run of 1, so we're 2 over 1 or just 2. And of course it is negative, and I did not indicate that here. This one is negative as well. So 8x plus 4y is greater than 12.